The Hoka Clifton has remained relatively unchanged since the Clifton 6. Is the latest update more of the same? Today, let's explore the Hoka Clifton 8. Hey, what's poppin'? Jordan Thomas here, helping you simplify tech and running to improve your life. Today, I'm gonna be covering the Clifton 8. I've spent the last 6 months or so getting really familiar with Hoka running shoes. And honestly, prior to this year, I hadn't really thought to pick up a Hoka shoe just because I didn't feel like they innovated fast enough. However, with the Mach 4, that helped change my perspective a little bit. And now the Clifton 8 takes me full circle back to all the different shoes that I reviewed for this year. The major change is primarily in the upper with engineered mesh. Not only is it soft, but it's also pretty well ventilated. I found it to be a little bit thinner than last year's version, which I think helps add just a little bit more breathability, and the overall mesh is nice. This seems like a step in the right direction. The tongue also gets an upgrade, and it's a whole lot of it. I appreciate the cushioning, but felt like it was out of balance with the upper and prefer it to be thinner. I also like the placement of the Clifton 8 logo. So in terms of making a meaningful change, even down to the color choice, Hoka seems to be making the right type of move that I would say that this is going towards the direction of innovation. Let's continue on with the midsole. This makes for an overall lighter shoe, coming in at 318 grams for this year's model versus 362 grams in a men's 11.5. This is where the innovation needs to happen. Listen, if Wendy's can figure out how to introduce a breakfast sandwich, I believe Hoka can figure out a way to introduce a new type of midsole. EVA just is not the most dynamic, innovative type of foam, and I recognize that's definitely been Hoka's bread and butter, but at some point, you gotta start trying out some different things. So for me, the reduction in EVA, while it is lighter, it was a miss for me. It changed the overall feeling of the ride from the previous version. And so if you're one of those people that's trying to decide whether or not you should get this version or the previous version, try them out and let me know what you think. I noticed it, and maybe I'm more sensitive to noticing it because I just started wearing the shoes this year. If you've been wearing them for a lot of years and you just love the Hoka feeling, then maybe it doesn't show up as present for you. The outsole also got some pretty key updates, particularly with some additional rubber, which is going to be great for traction across all types of surfaces. The wide rocker outsole is also nice for feeling some additional stability. The outsole also took on some additional updates, particularly with some new rubber, which is going to be great for traction across all types of surface. The wide rocker outsole also is nice for feeling some additional stability. And while Hoka helped introduce the wide outsole rocker type of thing, other companies have caught up. They figured it out. And so just like HBO needing to innovate to be able to keep pace with Netflix and become an HBO Max, Hoka, you've got to do something else now. Your feature is now just a feature in a lineup of a lot of other companies now. And so this is another opportunity to dip your toe in something else. I'm not saying abandon the wide rocker because, again, I believe in making sure that you maintain your base, but you have to be able to protect your future by doing something else. And I'd love to see some innovation here, particularly because you were the leader in this particular space. Now, if you're looking to continue to use this shoe as a running shoe, as a walking shoe, you're gonna be fine. But I just wanted to add a little bit more of a critical lens, but not a negative review, because I don't really feel like it's that. And as a matter of fact, in terms of my recommendation, in terms of what you would use this for best, easier days, things you're going to be on your feet for a long time. I've been getting a lot of comments here lately trying to figure out of various running shoes, what would I suggest for someone who's looking for a walking shoe. This, I get it. From a style standpoint, it's maybe not the shoe that you would go to pick up, but when it comes to overall stability, level of support, I think there's a lot of good reasons why podiatrists refer this shoe to people, particularly for those that are coming back from foot injuries. However, it's time to figure out another way to do this a little bit better. And speaking of doing things a little bit better, let's talk about the fit. When it comes to fit, I went with 11.5. The toe box is slightly bigger, and that's because the overall lace placement is pushed up a bit more than the previous version. There are fewer lace holes as well, and the laces get a nice little upgrade. There's some additional snugness in the midfoot coming from the gusset that holds the tongue in place, and now it wraps around more of your foot. I'm not sure who asked for more restriction in the shoe, but I'm not here for it, at all. And as a matter of fact, I felt like the way that the gusset is set up now, I found it to be kind of intrusive, and it kind of took me out my run. And so when I would put the shoe on, I would think to myself wow, this is restrictive. I can adjust the laces and make it better, but I like the amount of gusset that was in there before. And for those of you that are not familiar with what gusset is, it's really just what helps interconnect the tongue, makes it so it doesn't move around too much. But for me, I felt like it might as well be a full-on sock. Yes, I'm being a little bit facetious here, but it took me out of my run. And so I would definitely say if like you're really like sensitive to fit, the previous version to me was a bit better. Now, I know that because I am still somewhat new to Hoka running shoes, I might be more sensitive than you are if you spend a lot of time in there and you're used to that. I'm not used to it, and so I wanted to bring it up. One other thing I do like about the heel collar is that they upgraded the material in there, so that's a lot softer. I do question like how much foam is necessary there, but I like the overall like feel, and with the upgrade to the overall laces, I thought that was pretty dope. When it comes to performance, I found that this shoe worked best when it came to slow running, and long distance running, which is an ideal shoe, particularly for the person that's looking to run like a half marathon, marathon, even ultra marathon. But for a mid-distance runner like myself, I would reach for a number of other shoes ahead of this one, particularly the Mach 4. One, it's a longer range of paces. Two, it's a slimmer profile. Three, it just fits more into the way that I like to run, which is I like the ability to transition if I need to. And then if I just happen to have a shoe that is slower, I want it to be like almost like a luxury type of experience in terms of me being in a place of recovery. Unfortunately, the Clifton is none of those things for me, and so this shoe won't be a part of my overall rotation. But that's more of a me problem and not a you, and that's why I've structured this review in a way that I give you a number of different facts, and then I tell you how I feel about how those facts come together. Despite the incremental changes, particularly in the upper, and a somewhat questionable update to the fit, I believe it's time for Hoka to take the next step and seek out more aggressive innovation to their midsole foams and outsole construction. It started with the Mach 4. Hopefully we see that innovation start to flow more into the Clifton series. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. If you found any value out of it, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. And if you want to check out another Hoka running shoe review, check this out. And if you want to check something else out, check this out. I'll see you next time. Jordan Thomas. Peace.